A builder was caught on camera with blood on his trousers after bludgeoning his customer to death. Peter Norgrove, 43, was then recorded whistling as he packed away his tools as victim 58-year-old Sharon Gordon lay dying. And that very evening, the Jehovah's Witness led a service for worshippers via Zoom at the local Kingdom Hall. He met Sharon through a mutual friend at the Kingdom Hall they attended. They had never crossed paths before then. Sharon paid Peter approximately $50,000 USD to build an extension to her home within 2 months. And Peter had agreed to this in return for using the project as a vehicle to market his talents in his new career. Security cameras caught Peter casually whistling to himself after the attack as he packed up his car and calmly tidied the rear patio of the semi-detached home. What you're about to see may be disturbing. Here, Peter is seen with blood on his pants and his arms. Peter's wife, Rebecca, also 43, said it was she who handed in her husband's work gloves and bloodied clothes to the police after finding them hidden in the wheelie bin at her mother's home. I didn't know what they were at first, she said, but when I saw that it could be potential evidence, I had absolutely no hesitation in contacting the police. Of course, I knew there would be consequences, but morally, it was the only thing to do. She also said, I'm angry with him. I can't reiterate enough that what happened was awful, horrendous. I can't bear to imagine what Miss Gordon's family are going through. But just as they have lost a member of their family, I have lost my husband and our 3 children have lost their dad. I don't want people to think the reason I am standing by him in some way makes what he did any less tragic. I can only imagine how devastating this is for the victim's family, but I have told him I will always be there for him because we have been together for 18 years, and I know the kind of man he is. She said that her husband had no recollection of the attack or the immediate aftermath, and had been assessed as such by a psychiatrist, which she said explained why Peter appeared to carry on as normal after the brutal killing, and then drove to pick up a child from school. He then went to his mother-in-law's home where he dumped bloodied rags and gloves in a bin and placed the lump hammer he used to kill Miss Gordon in the shed. That night, the court heard that Peter and their 3 children attended the Kingdom Hall where the killer led a service. During the court case, it came out that there were events leading up to what happened that tipped him over the edge. Prosecutor said Peter could have walked away from the building job, but he wanted to do the best he could. I think in the end, the expectations were too much, and his best never seemed enough. Eventually he just snapped. It was his first build and he did a good job. The inspectors had no issues with his work. In an entry on May 3, 2022, almost a month after work started, Ms. Gordon noted on her calendar, Peter arrived late today and then popped out. So it was never going to get done today. The extension was further delayed by Peter's lax timekeeping, short working days, and inclement weather, while work was also halted on 2 occasions to satisfy a requirement for building inspectors to check on the project. It is also understood that the victim went to Australia to visit her siblings at one point during the construction, and the court heard she would not give Peter a key to enter the property when she was absent. Just 2 weeks before Peter killed her, the court heard Sharon send him a long WhatsApp message, lamenting the amount of time he had been taking on a 2-month extension, which she attributed in a large part to his lax timekeeping. On the day of her death, Sharon also messaged Peter about the $100 he owed her for a radiator he had damaged. Sharon suffered at least 8 blows to the head in what a judge described as a brutal and savage attack at the foot of her staircase. Just after 2 p.m., Peter is seen donning a pair of red gloves and going inside the back door. Seconds later, the doorbell camera picked up banging sounds, screams for 18 seconds, and unaudible shouting as Sharon was attacked inside. Around 20 minutes later, Peter emerges outside the house, a blood stain visible on his right calf, and is filmed casually packing up his car, whistling as he does so. The judge told Peter, "You used a hammer to repeatedly strike her to the head. You were angry because she had continued to criticize you for your chronic delays and workmanship." The rights and wrongs of the extension overrun, which were more than a year behind schedule, were not matters for the court to determine, the judge said. He added, "They do not provide you with any excuse, justification, or mitigation for what you did." In an interview with BBC, Ms. Gordon's daughter, Rianne Brown, described Peter as a wolf in sheep's clothing, who had used the security net of being in the same congregation as his victim to hide behind who he really was. Sharon Gordon's family said, "We remain devastated at the loss of our beloved sister Sharon, and our lives will never be the same again. Sharon had so much to live for, and no one could anticipate that renovating your home would end in murder. Sharon simply wanted to improve her home, but sadly she was brutally taken and will never enjoy any of its benefits." What happened to Sharon is absolutely devastating. You never know who to trust. Thank you for watching. It would mean the world to me if you support my channel. Take care and stay safe.